What is going on, guys? Back with another installment of some new exercises for your total gym or sliding bench trainer. I try and put these out at least once a month. I think I missed last month, so I'm kind of overdue. If you guys are new to the channel or haven't seen past installments, I have a whole new exercise playlist. I will put that down in the comment section, or I'll pin it down there. Anything you guys see in this video that's featured, I will link it down below if you guys do want to check it out and or support the channel. If you guys do find this at all informative, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this content. Anything you guys can do to help support me is greatly appreciated. I love you guys. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, first exercise we're gonna get into is a subtle variation on something we commonly do in the gym, which is this horizontal abduction motion of the shoulders. You've seen me doing this a lot of times on the total gym, which is kind of like a rear delt fly motion, working the posterior shoulders, posterior deltoids, rhomboids, traps, teres major, teres minor, infraspinatus, some muscles, again, back in that shoulder girdle or rotator cuff. A lot of times people like to kind of use like a resistance band like this, and they might do like a pronated grip and kind of open it up, kind of just like that. And yeah, you can definitely do it in the total gym and try it. It looks kind of simple and somewhat similar to the traditional neutral grip, opening up in rear delt fly, but much harder. And you certainly can use the bands over the tower, but just try this out. I got the Angles 90s attachments on because you need something to kind of like anchor that. You might be able to use a traditional handle, but I think the Angles 90s attachments work out pretty well. Again, shameless plug, link down below for those. Again, it looks very similar, but what you wanna do is angle your body a certain way so that the line of action is a little different, right? With the total gym, I'm sitting upright, that's pulling us down this way. Get up on your knees, drop this to a very low setting. This is a very deceiving exercise. Guarantee if you do it, you're gonna be shaking and working muscles you never felt before in your back. Great muscle, great exercise to work, for the shoulder girdle, working those posterior muscles that don't get hit as much as we probably should hit them. So great exercise. I can say a lot more about this, but just try it out for yourselves at a low incline setting, angle your body down, and give it a whirl on that one. All right, guys, this next one doesn't take a whole lot of creativity to figure this one out, but some people, it's one of these things you just don't think about. A great way to take advantage of this total gym is to do something I used to do a lot in the gym. I know I got some medicine balls laying around here somewhere, but people used to kind of do like these kind of deep push-ups, transition to a medicine ball. You could do it slowly. You can do it kind of with more power. I would kind of do a little bit of both. But again, if you got a total gym, some people that medicine ball kind of discomforts their wrist. You can do the same thing here, vary the incline setting that works for you, and just do that push up, come back up, rotate into a push up. You can even do some things where you do some abdominals kind of in the middle of that. If your wrists bother you, even though this is patterned, you can compare it to a medicine ball, it's still probably superior. You can take advantage of some perfect push-ups. There's a lot of different things you can do, but even those power moves, you can take advantage of those as well. All right, guys, this is something really cool, a little bit kind of a play on some stuff I've done before in the past, and this is gonna be like one exercise or two exercises, but really this is gonna be a series of new exercises I can show you. Utilizing the chains, I made a whole video talking about that. This is 1 foot of chain, this time directly tied to the top of the total gym. And then of course I got the swivel and carabiners. That's gonna make a huge difference. If you guys don't have that, you gotta get this. If you got a total gym or sliding bench trainer. You guys to definitely consider with this one is you are gonna wanna maximize and take advantage of the chrome grip handles to get this kind of rotational effect. But having this attached like this, I might even kind of leave this set up with some extra carabiner clips. Really cool, effective way to really maximize a lot of variety of closed chain exercises. A closed chain versus open chain exercise, guys, basically is if I'm working against something with my moving limbs that is fixed and not free to move, in this case, it's a closed chain. If I'm working against, say, with the pulley, my arms are working against something that is free to move, that would be an open chain exercise. So kind of like pull-ups are closed chain, a lat pull down would be an open chain. And the difference is, guys, what's really cool is that closed chain exercises tend to be a little more integrative. So you guys are seeing me do things here like bicep curls, tricep extensions, rows, even frontal raises. If you had some more extension, you can do some chest presses. Kind of similar, I did a whole video talking about using the pulleys detached and that detached pulley method. Again, really effective, cool video if you guys want to check that out. But with these closed chain exercises, you're gonna vary up that tension to a certain degree, and that's one of the awesome, great things about the total gym, is that you don't get one set of tension. You got a variety of ways you can manipulate tension and force, and of course, range of motion with machines. So try these things out. Really cool, really effective. I'm surprised I just never thought about it. And I was like, did I try this before? I kind of did with that detached pulley method, but try these things. Try doing basic rows, triceps, and definitely biceps. Really hits your biceps. All right, I thought this one kind of deserved its own little sequence, even though I showed you guys a bunch of stuff. A lot of great hamstring exercises you can do in a total gym. I feel like every one I show you, I feel like it's gonna be a new favorite. This is just honestly one of those body parts that, even though this machine does such a good job at it, I just never really get around to doing it. But this stuff, with the chains, this setup, with these D-Moose ankle attachments, I'll link these down below. These are the best ankle attachments I've ever tried. They don't come off. Just doing these hamstring curls with this close chain action. It feels really good. I've showed it to you before with other setups, but this I think feels the best. This really dials up the tension really quickly. I got no external weight on, but I certainly could easily put some external weight plates on. So give this a try. You can fine tune the tension. The only thing I think you gotta be careful with is getting out of this thing can be a little weird. So try this at your own risk. I don't want you guys getting stuck. Guys, this one could be a little cumbersome for some people, but this is essentially creating a good morning exercise on a total gym. It's what you would normally find done with like a barbell or maybe dumbbell, kettlebell, something like that, traditionally like a barbell. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking about like just ways to do back extension or work the lower back, strengthen the lower back on a total gym. There are definitely unique ways of doing it. And sometimes I argue, you know, it's better just to get off the machine, do a deadlift, maybe do a good morning, do some like, you know, hinging pattern type stuff for sure. But this machine is awesome and you can pretty much do anything. You gotta be careful with this one. I'm maximizing the easy curl bar. I did it from the facing the tower. I tried that, do not try it. I almost killed myself. I tried a lot of crazy things for you guys. This works a little bit better. Again, not perfect. Mine's not moving, yours might move. I got weight on the bottom end of this machine. I got some extension. You could fine tune the extension, fine tune the tower height. I got the easy curl bar. There is a proper way to kind of do this. You basically want this little notch set up, just kind of resting on your neck. If it's uncomfortable, you know you got it wrong. I walk off a little bit. Notice this thing is not sliding. Now, this might slide for you. And you want to fine tune that angle. It's not the exact type of pressure you would get with like a regular good morning pulling you downwards. And in some ways that's a good thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hinge at my hips, pushing my hips back, and then thrusting back up, hip extensions. I'm working my glutes and lower back for sure. And the great thing is compared to a traditional good morning is that this shouldn't give you as much tension. And also this won't limit you if you're on like, if you have limited range of motion. Now you can do it from here. Again, I would say a higher rep range where you're gonna feel it. I kind of have moderate weight on. I certainly could add more, but what you can also do, again, this is for sure, try this at your own risk. But if you wanna get more of like a certain slant or an angle, I tried this, and honestly, it works out pretty good. Again, you have to be really comfortable. I got my grippy shoes. I got weight on the back here. I feel comfortable. I would not recommend anyone else try this, but if you got some extension and you trust the friction in the ground you're working on, this actually can work out pretty well too, so putting more stress on that lower back. Gotta go super slow, gotta be careful, no question. All right, this one's probably not the best exercise in the world, but honestly, it's still pretty good. And I would say if your quads are kind of warmed up, you did some leg stuff and you jump into this for some high repetitions, you'll definitely feel this. Again, you need some grippy shoes here. I linked these shoes down below. They're pretty cheap and they're very grippy. What I'm gonna do is, again, assuming you got a nice friction on your total gym, what I do is I kind of have some external weight here. We're doing a quadricep exercise. I'm just gonna extend my knee just like that. What I found also works out really well, I first tried this on my Pro Form, which has the resistance bands. This might be a little heavy. You gotta fine tune that weight. And also the glide board, the incline setting. But I noticed, like even right now, I don't know how many reps I just did, this is starting to get pretty tense. It's a good, just kind of simple knee extension exercise, isolating the quadriceps. I'm sure there's some other ways you can kind of fine tune this, but again, as I'm talking to you, this pressure's starting to build up. And I know if I did some body weight squats, jumped into this, an excellent kind of topper exercises, some leg stuff, that's really easy to kind of jump into. And this one isn't necessarily new, but I feel like this is such a good exercise that people should incorporate, especially if you're not doing any squats or you have a hard time getting into doing squatting. I probably have shown these before, I know I have, but I want to emphasize these two exercises really briefly. One is just the box squat. You kind of see people doing this in the gym for a number of different reasons. I like this a lot because it has a lot of different functional purposes. One, if you have a hard time getting below parallel or just squats kind of bother you, it's a nice way to kind of ease and transition and kind of work on squatting. And you can use all different types of resistance. I got some bands on here. I got my heels on the bottom of the base, but all I'm doing, again, I'm maximizing the beauty and design of this machine. I can increase and decrease that incline so that now I can do things like I'm gonna shift my weight forward, my feet are nice and flat, I'm gonna come up, extend in the squat, park my butt, and then rotate again, forward and lift. Now this seems, again, well, this looks kind of easy. Trust me guys, do this for about 25 or so reps and it gets tough. And the beauty is, yeah, you don't need bands. You could add external weight, a kettlebell or whatever, and do the same thing working on that box squat. Again, vary the heights, it works for you. Great exercise to emphasize lifting with the glutes, hamstrings, and hips as I come back up. And then just another one I think is just so underrated. People don't do it enough. I've shown it certainly before. I count it as like a lunge, but really I'm just saying this is another way of doing, an effective way of doing a Bulgarian squat or a split squat people have seen done traditionally with like a bench. And a lot of people complain it can kind of hurt their knee with that leg that's up on the bench. Again, we're maximizing the beauty, awesome design of that Total Gym, where also, not to mention you use like a Pilates bar attachment or some attachment to kind of hold on to something, is that we can actually practice doing this Bulgarian squat or split squat, which is great about this because again, if you have a hard time doing squats or any kind of leg exercise, this exercise is great. You can progressively work into a greater lower range of motion. You can fine tune your footing however you like, having your toe on the glide board to get further back, totally completely resting your knee on there and just standing up, dropping it back this way. You don't even have to use the glide board in its gliding motion to really take advantage of this. And I think for a lot of people, this is a very valuable exercise. It's a foundational exercise of doing things like lunging that previously people find a hard time really doing with that flexibility. So honestly, I think this is probably better than lunging. You can really isolate your legs in a really effective way. Really easy to kind of jump into this exercise. And I think in all walks of life, very hard and challenging exercise. All right, guys, that is it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, got something out of it. Again, share this information, bank it in your memory. Hopefully you guys got a chance to see all these exercises and incorporate them. Try and make your own risk, but at the very least, if you guys found this at all entertaining, you got something out of it, please like, share, subscribe. Always helpful. Thank you again so much. See you guys on the next video.